Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT proudly presents America's coolest conservative. Well, proudly could be stretching it a bit. Welcome to the DJ Ritchie Show.
Hello, brothers and sisters. Oh, my microphone is squeaking loudly. I got to get some Earl put on that. I got some WD-40 on it. Can't be having that. Ooh, the number is 704-570-1110. Go ahead and jump on that. I know you crazy texters are ready to go, so text it on in here. The text line driven by Liberty Buick GMC. Hold on, I just got to catch my breath because I barely made it on time tonight. I was trying to get all my my illegal basketball bets in before the show started. And I think I did. I think I got them all. I got all my insider information and everything. I know it's just the preseason, right? Isn't it, Isaac? Isn't it preseason basketball going on right now?
I believe it is.
Hey, preseason, you can still win money on it, you know? So I got the inside scoop. I'm just kidding. I'm being sarcastic for the FBI people in Charlotte. I'm just joking. I don't know anything about basketball. I don't like basketball that much, especially the NBA. Ugh. I don't like that at all. But that's pretty cool little racket if it turns out to be true. I know everything is alleged at this point. So the best I understand it, and I know Sharon Thorsland and Brett Jensen know everything about it, how it would work. But I think, let's say they've accused this Terry Rozier of having a gambling ring, like his buddies get together, and then because he's in the NBA, he can give tips to them that aren't public knowledge. For example, what he's accused of is one of the specific things is that he told his buddies that he was going to be going out of the game early when he was playing with the Hornets. Again, allegedly. And then they went and they would do these prop bets. Now, the prop bet is where you're just betting on things that could happen in the game. Like you're going to bet in the Super Bowl that the Star Spangled Banner takes more than 2 minutes. The performance will last longer than 2 minutes. So, and then if you win, you win. Well, his buddies allegedly would bet that Terry Rozier, his first name's Terry, right? Yeah, Rozier, would go out of the game early with an injury. Well, they say that he told them, I'm leaving the game with an injury early, so go bet on that. And they did, and then won a lot of money, and they allegedly gathered at his house after the game to split up the winnings and stuff. Woo! This is not the first time that the NBA has had a little bit of a gambling problem. Remember when the referees were basically fixing games? They were found guilty of that, the referee gambling. Seems like this is a lot easier, though. I mean, you can clearly control this. You don't have to even control the outcome of the game. You know, you don't have to answer to any mob bosses or anything if you don't win the game or lose the game. But, I mean, let's just say it's just a regular Wednesday night, middle of the season game that doesn't really mean anything. You say, all right, well, I'm going to be starting, but I'm going to go out with an injury by the end of the first half. Go bet on that. But then again, it seems like that would raise red flags faster too. So you got all these people winning money. You go, wait a minute. How come all these people bet that Terry Rozier was going to leave the game with an injury? How did they know that? Now, there were some, in the article that I read, there were some the brilliant LeBron James, he's not accused of doing anything wrong in this, but it was just him as an example that they used. And since he's a doofus, then I always have to make mention of that. But anyway, they said that he is hurt at practice. He's not doing well, may not make it to game time, to the game in time. And so they didn't make that public. But somebody on the Lakers called their gambling ring friends and said, LeBron's not playing tonight, so go bet on the Bucks to win. And so they did. And guess what? They won a lot of money, according to the story that I saw. So that doesn't seem quite as suspicious as, a player is going to go out with an injury. I don't know, man. What? I always wonder about this. When you make millions of dollars every year, and then, you have your name and your image and all that, you can do endorsements and all these opportunities to make more money than your average American would even dream of seeing in a lifetime. Making enough money where you'll never have to want for anything again if you use it in a smart way. And then you go risk it all, everything, to pick up a few $1,000s here and there on the side. Come on. That makes no sense. It's just like whenever you hear about a celebrity, a big celebrity or a sports figure that gets in trouble for reckless driving or drunk driving or whatever, why are you even driving? You can afford a permanent driver to take you everywhere, especially if you're going to be drinking. What is wrong with you? They're stupid. But sometimes it's just the thrill of it, Sometimes it's the thrill of whether or not you can get away with it. It's like when a rich person steals or shoplifts. It's like they don't need it. They could have paid for it, but it's the rush that they get from it. And that's the only thing I can think of in this situation. Unless you're just trying to figure out a way to help your friends make a lot of money without giving them your money. I don't know, but it just seems so stupid. Such a stupid thing to do. Now, I like to gamble. I don't sports bet. I play blackjack when I go to, somewhere that they have a casino or something, but I'm a $5, $10 minimum hand. And I'm so smooth though, and I'm such I give off the impression that I'm such a high roller. Let's say I get $100 worth of chips at the blackjack table, and let's say I'm feeling really cool that night, and I've sat down at a $10 a hand table. As soon as I get enough chips where I've got more than $100, I'll take the first 100 that I spent and put that in my pocket. So then I can just say, well, I'm not going to lose anything, and then I'll keep playing. I mean, that's the way real high rollers operate, like that. Okay, so I'm sure this is going to be the story of the year in sports before it's over with. So we'll keep you updated if we get any more information. This is the kind of sports story I like. I don't like stats and all that stuff, especially about basketball. I like football and baseball, and that's it. Those are the real American sports. No, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding with you. All right, we have so much stuff to get to tonight. I'm already long on the first break here, on the first segment, so we got to take a break, and then we will get into all of the craziness that's going on in the news today with my analysis of everything, which is the best analysis you're going to get. You know why? Because I'm the realist. TJ, the realist Ritchie. And we got more coming up. Hang on.
Identifying liberalism and mocking it relentlessly. This is the TJ Ritchie Show on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT.
Oh, man. I am so excited because we've got some new stuff coming to this show that I've been working on just to kind of spruce it up a little bit, make it dazzle a little more, make it sparkle, selling the sizzle as well as the steak, y'all. So that'll be happening soon. So don't even think about missing a night of this show. All 11 of you can get together and listen to it in a party. Have a party, listen to it every night. So simple. Okay. That clock is ticking. This is October 23rd, and November 2nd, I believe, or November 1st is when the EBT cuts are happening with a lot of people. Now, we talk about it every night, and the defiance of a lot of these people who, feel like they're entitled to having our money pay for their food and their, benefits and all that, their housing. And they've started, even in some of these videos I see on the social medias, they've started just referring to taxpayers like they would call, MAGA. You taxpayers complaining. Like, okay. And that is music to the ears of commocrat politicians. They have worked so hard to get so many people addicted to the government. And they have done a great job of it because a lot of these people are so brainwashed, so programmed, indoctrinated to think that they are not responsible for their livelihood, that somebody else is responsible for, the nameless, faceless taxpayers. Let me tell you taxpayers something. So this information has been out there for a long time that, hey, in November, there are some cuts coming, and these are the new rules. You got to work 20 hours a week if you want benefits. If you're able-bodied, and you got da-da-da-da-da-da. It's been out there for a long time. Been on for a long time. Been on for a long time. So we have a lady who is standing in front of her camera in her phone in her kitchen, waving around the letter that she got, and she is livid. She is livid. Now she's just going off. I was going to describe her appearance, but I don't think I need to. You probably know. All right, here we go. Isaac, cut 78. Go.
Me and my kids have been 5 days without food. 5 days ago, my food stamps were taken from me, stolen from me, with no warning. Today, I get this food stamp letter from the food stamp office telling me not only am I losing my food stamps, I'm losing my $2,100 in cash benefits that I get every single month to pay my bills. I'm losing my Section 8. My food stamps have now decreased from $4,300 to $19 a month for 6 kids. How the hell am I supposed to feed 6 kids on $19 a freaking month? On top of having to come up with rent. Because now I don't have Section 8.
Oh, no.
Cash benefits. No cash benefits. My $300 utility check that I get every single month, I will no longer be getting. We're going to be left out on the streets. They take all of my food stamps. I don't even have a dollar to my name, and I have 6 kids to feed. Please tell me, how is this making America great again? Can somebody make that? So pissed.
All right. Did she say, and I don't know if you were paying attention, Isaac, but did she say that she gets, just in the food stamps, she was getting $4,300 a month?
She was getting a lot.
A month? Now, how many jobs you work, Isaac?
3.
3 jobs. I work 2. I'm not on food stamps, EBT, or any of that. Section 8, none of that. Are you?
No.
If she just got that much in food stamps, she was getting $51,600 a year just in food. If that's what she said, which is what I think she did say, on top of rent and utilities and all of that.
I'm going to be completely honest. I think she's making more than me.
Oh, she's making more than I am. She's making more than us together.
I'm about to quit a couple of these jobs.
Yeah, get on it, man. Go have like 7 kids. But then I want to play another clip from her that was done a few months ago when she knew that all this was happening. All right, so this is her a few months before what you just heard. Listen.
My food stamps went from $4,400 in food stamps every month to $38. What am I supposed to get with $38 with 6 kids? How the hell am I supposed to support my kids on $38 in food stamps? Not to mention our disability checks on hold. Our Section 8, my rent isn't getting paid tomorrow. So I have to come up with $1,100. Okay? I am allergic to work. I can't work. I refuse to work. The whole reason I had kids was the amount of government benefits that you get for one child. And now, with the dependent age being 7 and younger, none of my kids are dependents now. None of them, because they're all older than 7. So how am I supposed to live? How do I feed my kids on $38? This is not okay. Not okay.
No, it's not. It is not okay. I'm not okay. It's a Jelly Roll song, I believe. Yeah. Now, I am a kind-hearted, sensitive, giving. I have run several charities in my career. I am very charity-minded. But it's hard to have somebody else take your money and give it to somebody that you don't even know. That's what the government does. They steal your money and then they go give it to people like that. Now, if this woman came up to you asking you for charity and she told you that she's not going to work, she's allergic to work, would you want to give her anything? Would you feel charitable toward her the same way you would if someone like the people in the mountains of North Carolina that got flooded, their whole lives swept away and they had nothing because no fault of their own? This isn't charity. This is confiscation and redistribution. And it's got to stop sometime. And hopefully that this is the time that it stops. Okay. Hang on. We got more coming up next.
Late, live, and local. It's the TJ Ritchie Show on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WPT.
The Green-Eyed Patriot is on the air everywhere, ladies and gentlemen, and so glad to be here. I'm glad that you are here, all 11 of you. We're a small but close-knit group, and that's great. That is great. Thank you so much. 704-570-1110 is the phone number and the text number. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm just going to be going all over the map tonight, just from one thing to another, be bopping and scatting all over the place because, one, that's kind of how I do things because I can't stay focused on one topic very long. My shortcoming, I guess. And the other is because there's so many different things going on because the Democrats never stop. They never stop. You think because they've been slowed down or they've been occupied with one thing that is really hurting them, like right now, the government shutdown and the trans issue and all that. You think they're not focused on all their other little pet issues, their little pet projects that they have going on? No, they're always focused on that. Now, what is their main target? What is their main weapon? You know, we talk about this all the time. The main weapon of the Commucrat Party is falsely accusing all Republicans of being racist. Okay. Now, we know that more and more black people are starting to wake up to the lies and the destruction of the Democrat Party and how the Democrat Party has been lying to them all these years and using them, manipulating them, so forth and so on. But you got to realize that even coming to that conclusion is hard because people have been taught by the generations in their family all about being a Democrat. You got to be a Democrat. You got to be a Democrat. And so it's their, you know, imagine we as normal people, the conservatives, if all of a sudden we looked up and we found out that conservatism was a lie. It would be so hard to come to the grips with that and be able to say, okay, well, I'm not a conservative anymore. I got to go to the other side. So if you ever wonder, why can't they see this? Why can't, and it's just hard for them to give it up. And that's all liberals, not just any specific race. So there was a video that I saw of a truck driver, a black truck driver, and he was explaining how he got a job. And he was almost afraid to credit President Trump. He's actually in his big rig here making this video. Cut 80, Isaac. Go.
Y'all, I'm a truck driver, right? Let me tell you the effects of Donald Trump. This company called me begging me to work for them because they couldn't find drivers anymore. Why couldn't they find drivers? Because Donald Trump instituted that you must speak English in order to hold a CDL. That means people who are natural born Americans, people who have been here for centuries, who built the country, now we get opportunities that all these foreigners would get. Say what you want to about Trump. I'm not saying he's not racist, but what he's doing positively affects me. Now the jobs that were going to illegal immigrants, that they were working for pennies on the dollar, now it goes to a natural born, full-blooded American.
But, you know, he can't bring himself to say Trump's not a racist. Now, here is the thing. With so many, and there are a lot, and I love it, there's so many black people now who are seeing the right side, our side, that the liberals, the commucrats, the leftists are grasping at anything to continue accusing Republicans of being racist. Because they know that once they lose that, they're done. They are done. That's why I say it's so, I tear up whenever I hear a black person say, I realized that the Democrat Party was lying to me all these years and I'm not with them anymore. I see that they are the party of racism and segregation and Jim Crow and blah, blah, blah. I love that. So the more the commucrats see that, the more they just start, what can we do? What can we make them think is racist? How do we pick out something and call it racist? Call it racist. Well, this is how hard they're stretching to get something as evidence that Republicans and, you know, white people in general are racist toward black people. Listen to what this lady says. Go. Cut 88.
Hey, white people, can you explain something to me? Why do y'all say black different when y'all are referring to black people, but not like a black chair or something. Like, why do y'all do this like black thing? Like, black man. Like, why y'all can't just say black? Like, just wondering.
Okay, so obviously another stupid liberal woman who thinks that she's, an observational comic. She thinks that, yeah, everybody notices. That's so relatable. How white people say black. So they're just fishing for anything. They're like those, the Democrats now looking for things to accuse Republicans about being racist from is like those magnet fishermen. They throw the big giant magnet off in the ditch or the river and they drag it to see if they come up with anything valuable. That's the way Democrats are now, trying to make Republicans seem racist. Just throw it in there and whatever sticks. By the way, that young lady had a septum ring. Means nothing, I guess. Just thought I would throw that out there. So many of them do. So many of them do. That's almost become like wearing a T-shirt saying, I'm a liberal lunatic. You might as well just do that when you put that septum ring in. I'm a liberal lunatic. Now, that doesn't mean that everybody who wants a septum ring is a lunatic liberal. But, I mean, if you want people to think you are, then keep wearing a septum ring. I don't make the rules. I just report on them. So don't get mad at me. But you might as well just have a blinking sign on you that says liberal lunatic, lunatic liberal, liberal lunatic, lunatic liberal. And nobody likes that. Nobody. All right. Just how stupid does Hillary Clinton think America is? Does Hillary Clinton think that all the people of a certain age in the United States of America have no memory of what she is all about? You're going to love this. This is funny. Very funny stuff coming from Hillary Clinton. So we'll get to that next. Hang on.
He's radio royalty in the Carolinas and Queen Charlotte's sweetest prince. It's TJ Ritchie on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WPT.
TJ the Realist Ritchie. I have had my name legally changed to that over the past week. I expedited it through the government. So that is my government name now. TJ the Realist Ritchie. Don't get it twisted. Okay. Now, Hillary Clinton. Oh, that sweet, sweet darling. Oh, such a bright, shining angel flying around, flapping her little wings on all of us. We're so lucky that we have her. She is still so desperate to get over on Donald Trump about something. Ever since he destroyed her in the first election, his first election. I mean, this witch is just obsessed with getting revenge on him. And she's now to the point where she's just making a fool of herself. She should just go away. You ever notice that the Democrat first ladies never go away? And you also notice that the Democrat first ladies always acting like they're up in the business all the time. They always have to have their nose stuck in everything during their husband's presidency. Republican first ladies don't do that. I mean, sure, they have their little projects here or there. Hillary Clinton's project as first lady, her main project was to get government health care. What ended up being Obamacare later, she did that and failed miserably. Thank God. But they were even referring to her as co-president. She and Bill are like co-presidents, smartest woman in the world. And she's just an old battle axe at this point. Always has been, but, now it's even worse. It's embarrassing. Somebody ought to get her. Like Chelsea ought to get her and keep her inside. Stop her from making a fool of herself all the time. Well, the thing that she really is onto now is this whole building a new ballroom in the White House situation. We talked about last night, all the celebrities that are, pearl clutching and fainting over it. Oh. Every president does something to the White House to make it better or remodel it or whatever. She knows that. Well, here's what she says. This little story says Hillary Clinton is upset that Trump is building a ballroom at the White House. She says, quote, "It's not his house. It's your house, and he's destroying it." Hillary. May I call you Hillary? Hillary. You see, you're not just talking to young people. You're making a fool of yourself in front of people who remember you and Bill in our White House. Do you not remember yourself? Have you gotten senile and you don't remember what you did to our White House? You see, what Trump is doing is improving our White House. What President Trump does is he builds immaculate, beautiful things. So all of you and your celebrity friends calling it gaudy, it's going to be a gaudy ballroom and all this stuff. No. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be beautiful. But here's what we remember about how you treated our White House. You and your husband, when you moved out of the White House, when George W. Bush was elected, stole all these millions of dollars worth of stuff out of the White House. You took paintings and furniture and things like that you weren't supposed to take. The people's paintings and the people's furniture. Y'all loaded them up in a moving van and skedaddled out of there like the Arkansas hillbillies y'all are. Oh, we remember. We remember. Now, you young people, if you didn't know that, go Google it. Go Google that. It's all over the place. I looked on Google the other day, and it's got all kinds of stories like that on it. Yeah, you and old Bill loaded up that U-Haul, all that expensive stuff. You headed to the damn pawn shop, I bet. See what you can get for it. You trashy, trashy woman. Ugh. Stealing from our house. The last I checked, Donald Trump wasn't stealing from our White House. You see what I mean? You see how Chelsea needs to come get her? But I don't know that there'll be any media people that would call her out on that. Now, I don't remember what ended up happening with all the stuff once they caught up with them and said, hey, you're not supposed to take that. That belongs to the people. That stays in the White House. You know what else they did to our White House? They sullied the dignity of the Lincoln bedroom. And of course, what her husband did to our house to soil the sanctity of the Oval Office. Now, kids, if you don't know what her husband did, he had a nasty little encounter with a 22-year-old, maybe 24-year-old by the time it was found out, intern. Yeah, they had a little nastiness going on in our White House. So, Hillary, this is just definitely one you should stay out of. Well, you should stay out of all the arguments, but this one especially, because you trashed our White House. Now, I know you're a big city intellectual from Chicago, and you hitched your wagon to that hayseed hillbilly from Arkansas just to be able to have a future in power. But when it comes down to it, you must have lived in the hills of Arkansas too long, because you just act like a white trash hillbilly. Now, I'm not saying everybody from Arkansas is a white trash hillbilly by any means. My brother lives in Arkansas. That's not a good example on my side, though. But I like those Huckabees. They're good people. But yeah. Hillary. But you know, that is the way that commucrats have always been able to roll. You know, they get out there and they say outlandish, hypocritical things, and they would get away with it because, one, the Marxist media wouldn't call them on it, and then our media would be afraid to say something about it. Most. But then again, we didn't have much media back during the Clinton days. We had, talk radio, and, Fox News was just starting to come about. But, and if anybody pointed out, hey, they try to steal everything from the White House. They're trash. They're trashy. He was having an affair in the White House with a 20-something-year-old intern. The liberals in the media would say, those are personal. That has nothing to do with his job. That's just his personal sex life, and that has no place for the discussion in public. Let them handle blah, 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 blah. They were told they could have that stuff. That was part of what they were to take with them when they moved out. Okay, well, did they move it in? Was it theirs when they got there? No. They came in with suitcases. They need to leave with suitcases. If they had some gifts given to them by, other leaders or whatever, fine. But nobody gave them the paintings on the wall. What are they going to do with the paintings anyway? They show up at on Pawn Stars, looking to get a couple $100 for them. I'm telling you, Democrats are just, I have no patience for them. I have no patience for people who don't see how messed up they are. Like, you just want to shake them and go, wake up, wake up. You're supposed to be woke. Get woke and look at this. Look at these Democrats messing up everything. All right. We have a lot of stuff to get to in the next hour, some serious business to handle. Maybe some stuff that you've heard already through the day, but you haven't heard my perspective on it, my take, as they say. So that'll be better than everybody else's take, obviously. So we'll get into all that. I'm kidding, of course. That's all coming up next. Hang on.
News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT proudly presents America's coolest conservative. Well, proudly could be stretching it a bit. Welcome to the DJ Ritchie Show.
Green-eyed patriot on the air everywhere. Ramming, jamming, slamming. Got it all happening right here. Right here. Don't miss it. Right here. We got it. All right. I saw a couple of things today that, basically I was just in front of my computer all day. enthralled with all the stuff that's going on in so many different areas. And I'm not even going to get close to getting to all of it. So I guess tomorrow we'll get to everything that I missed during the week with the Friday cleanup. But I saw a video of a man describing who DEI programs really help. You know, according to the Commucrats, the leftists, DEI helps people of color in the workplace, giving them a fair chance. Diversity, equity, and inclusion, right? Black and brown people. So here's somebody who has a description of what DEI actually does. It's a little bit different than what you'll normally hear. Cut 82. Go.
Blacks are led to believe that DEI benefits blacks. But when you look at the statistics, you find out that it doesn't. According to Black Enterprise, blacks only make up 4% of DEI hires. According to McKinsey and Thompson, white women account for 76.1% of chief diversity officers. And across the board, DEI hires is pretty much 60 to 62% of white liberal women. On face value, DEI has an image that it's pro-black. Mm-hmm. But when you wipe the black off of DEI, the whiter it gets. And in particular, it's to benefit white liberal women and men who seek to push trans zealot ideologies, Marxist atheist ideologies, and anti-Christian bigotry.
Okay, now a couple of things. Just observations here. I wish the woman would stop making noises while he's talking. Ooh! Ah! I don't like that. It's annoying. Has nothing to do with what he was saying. I just wish that wouldn't have happened. And I also wish they would have lowered that music a little bit. You see what happens. Let me get off on a tangent here. What happens is you get all of these podcasters, and God bless them. I'm not begrudging them anything. Success, whatever they get, fine. But they're not trained radio people, okay, like we are. And they want to put music behind all of their stuff, or as we would say in the business, under them. And they just don't know how to do it. That music was way too loud because he was speaking softly, and that music was and it drowns out what he's trying to say. They also do this thing where they'll put music underneath the spoken voice with singing. So you got them singing and then talking over that. You don't do that. That's one of the biggest sins in radio. You do not do that. But these aren't radio people, so they don't know. Bless their hearts. I wish they would just call me. I can help them. I can help them with that. Okay, so what he's saying makes perfect sense if you know what the race hustlers in the Democrat Party are all about. What the party bosses of the Commucrats are all about. So diversity, equity, and inclusion is supposed to help minorities, people of color, but diversity includes women, including white women. The only people that it would not cover would be straight white men. Okay? So they're not helping straight white men. You'd never see a straight white man as the DEI officer or whatever they call him in a company. So what he's saying is all the big jobs in the DEI departments go to the liberal white women, and the other part of the diversity is trans and LGBTQ people, white. Only 4% of the good jobs in the DEI programs are black people. Isn't that so typical? So typical of these hypocrites on the left. But you know what? It's what they've always done. It's what they're about. Scamming black people to make them think that, we're your guy, we're your people, we're helping you. And it's not just the white Democrats that are doing that. It's all the Democrats. Like I said, all the race hustlers on the left. It's what they do. It's actually diabolical. So then they know when they put that out there and they make people think that diversity, equity, and inclusion is all for helping people of color and that it's un-American, it's illegal, actually. And when the Republicans get in charge and they start pointing out that it's illegal and the court sides with them, and then they've got an issue then. Look, they hate people of color. Look, they're taking away their jobs and they're trying to erase, that's the Democrat, erase black people and history and all that. So they set up these things and they know that they're lying to the people of color. And then at the same time, they know when Republicans try to fix it, they have an issue that they can even double down on how they're trying to help black and brown people. I mean, they're just like villains in a movie. They're always, always on the take somehow or another, always hustling some kind of a scam. And again, I'm put every Democrat politician and people who work for Democrat politicians in that category. Scamming all the time. Not to be trusted. I call them professional Democrats, people who their livelihood depends on their being a Democrat. Avoid them, stay away from them. They're no good. No good. All right. So we have a little game we're going to play. The Media Research Center has a little thing that they do called "Who Had the Worst Media Take of the Week," and they place 3 clips of lunatics on the left, and then we'll determine which one was the worst. Coming up next. Hang on.
He's America's coolest conservative. Welcome to the TJ Ritchie Show on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WPT.
704-570-1110 is the number. Call it, text it, text line driven by Liberty Buick GMC. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for helping me out. Even you drones, you brain dead liberals out there. I appreciate the fact that you're listening. I really do. All right. I apologize. I said we would get to the who had the worst take in the media this week, but I forgot. There is something that is very important that we need to talk about. Now, earlier in the show, when I said that Democrats never stop with their go-to projects, the issues that they always have. One of them is always trying to make the Republicans out to be racist, and another one is gun control. You think because they're on the defensive now about pretty much all of their policies because they're so ridiculous, they don't stop still trying to take away our Second Amendment rights. So give you a brief summary of what happened in California. There was a man who was convicted of beating a woman almost to death. He got sentenced to 10 years in prison. He only served 4. They let him out. They're bad about doing that, the leftists are. So they let him out, and then he is accused of carrying on a mass shooting. I think it was in the Sacramento area. So a mass shooting, and what do liberals do? They don't care about the victims. They don't care about anybody, really. they see that as an opportunity to go after the gun, right? So Glock, which I think makes the best handgun, that's what I have. I have Glocks, multiple Glocks. They are banned in the state of California now. You hear me? Glocks are banned in California because they are too easily modified. Like this shooter had his Glock modified to make it an automatic weapon. Now, Commucrats always call a semi-automatic an automatic weapon, and they'll get on TV, make a fool of themselves and say, that means you can hold the trigger down and it continues to shoot until you let go of the trigger. And that's already illegal. You can't do that. You can't have a gun. You can't have a machine gun. A semi-automatic means it fires quickly, but you have to pull the trigger after each time. Boom, 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 boom. Each shot is a trigger pull. Well, something about the design of a Glock makes it easy to turn it into an automatic weapon. So what do? They ban Glocks in the state of California. Now, I don't think it's legal to do that. But, you know, a lot of times we have a wishy-washy Supreme Court. You never know how they're going to come down, even though the majority of the Supreme Court justices are supposedly constitutionalists and they were nominated by Republican presidents. You can't count on them all the time. You can count on Clarence Thomas all the time and Sam Alito all the time, not John Roberts. You just don't know. Put it that way. So if they get away with this in California, then every liberal run state is going to pull this. Glock is a huge company. Glock makes a lot of firearms. A lot of people love them as far as having a firearm. They love Glock. I do. I prefer Glock. And they being the Commucrats, will do any underhanded, illegal, unconstitutional thing that they can do to try to disarm the American people. And they know it. So Gavin Newsom, this guy, Gavin Newsom, to do anything. He's like, Trump is a maniac. Trump is a maniac. Yeah, we don't need kings around here. We got a constitution. We need to go by our constitution. Well, what about the Second Amendment? So, except that. We need common sense gun control. Nobody's trying to take all your guns away from you, but just some common sense gun control. That's all we need. I think, no, you need a lozenge. That's what you need, Gavin Newsom. So you take a full-blown communist like Gavin Newsom, who would love nothing better than to completely disarm the American population, especially before I run for president. That would be great. You could have everybody disarmed. And it's always funny that the left talks about the Second Amendment. Like it can just be, we've grown past that. Our founders, our framers didn't take into consideration. They had muskets. They didn't take into consideration the types of firearms that we have these days. Okay. Well, let's get some common sense press control. Let's deal with that First Amendment. Well, no, you gotta have the freedom of the press. I mean, it's a founding document. Yeah, it is. It sure is. But when our founders and framers, when they came up with that whole freedom of the press thing, they had no idea that we were going to end up with satellite news channels on television, and they didn't know we were going to have the internet and all of these other things, international news coverage of things and all of this kind of stuff, journalism colleges that will teach journalism students how to be little Marxists. They didn't plan for all of that. So let's whittle that down a little bit. Freedom of the press, part of the First Amendment. No? Well, I will say this. The Second Amendment, the right to keep and bear arms, wasn't really that important, I don't think. That's why they threw it in at number 2 on the list. You know, an afterthought. Wasn't that important to them. Let's just put it second. But this is something that we've got to really keep an eye on. These underhanded tricks like this from the Democrats. And another thing is just like, you remember that time the government was buying up all the ammunition? Yeah. Young people go Google that. When the government was buying all of the ammunition available for handguns and stuff in the United States, stockpiling it, basically just keeping it out of the hands of the people, because, you know, Second Amendment doesn't guarantee you ammunition. It just guarantees you that you can have arms, not bullets. You see how they do that? You see how crafty and wily the Democrat is? Ooh. You always got to watch them. Always got to be watching them. And I don't know where the Republicans are that are already, you know, why they aren't already bringing a lawsuit against this. So the Democrat philosophy is the gun is too easily modified into something illegal and making it a weapon to kill multiple people at once. Instead of going after the criminal that's breaking the law and doing that to these guns, they choose to go after the gun manufacturer. See how that works? Because they get 2 birds with 1 stone there. 2 birds with 1 leftist Marxist stone. They shut down a company, which they hate because it's free enterprise, capitalist system, and they get guns one step, there's one huge step closer to banning guns. So whoever came up with this idea is probably doing some celebratory coke off of a college boy's buttocks because they feel like they have won. It's historic. It actually is. But let's kind of pressure our people to cut it off at the pass here. Get moving on it. You know, Republicans in the past have not multitasked as well as Democrats. Like I said, Democrats are constantly destroying more than one thing at a time. They can do it. Republicans are like, we got to defend this, then we'll go defend that. We can defend this and we can defend that, but not at the same time. So we got to stop that. Okay. We will do the little game, who had the worst media take of the week with 3 lunatics. Yeah. So if nothing happens between now and then, we'll do that next. So hang on.
Radio, podcasts, and cool social media content. Get all the TJ you can handle at WBT.com/TJ. Now, back to the TJ Ritchie Show on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT.
Late, live, and local. I'm feeling that late part. Man, I'm tired. Tired tonight. I'll tell you a quick, funny little story. You know, we got that News and Brews thing coming up next Wednesday, or this coming Wednesday, actually. And the boss man called me today to fill me in on what it's like, since I've never been to one of those, and I'm obviously going to be the premier celebrity at the thing. Actually, the only celebrity. The other radio hosts from BT will be there, but I'll be the only celebrity. And so he was telling me, about this or that. And he goes, and at this point, because the morning show people have to get up early, so you probably let them step out a little bit earlier than everybody else and all that, and then you can da-da-da-da-da-da. And I'm going, oh, well, hello, I'm a morning show person. I do a morning show. I just don't do it for WBT. I'm kidding. He just assumes, since I'm up late every night, that I can handle it. And I'm a lot younger than Bo and Beth, too, so no big deal. Young and strong. They're old. Damn, they old. All right. So, Media Research Center posts this thing today, and it is it's 3 different idiots on the left, and it says, who had the worst media take of the week? Now, number 1 is a man named Elie Mystal. He's always on MSNBC. I don't know. He's some kind of college professor or something. He's acts like a communist, and he looks like the African-American version of John Wayne Gacy. When John Wayne Gacy had the clown costume on. Not saying that Elie Mystal is a serial killer, not insinuating that at all. I'm just talking about the way he looks. He looks like somebody who's actually wearing a clown costume. That's what he looks like. Now, he's despicable and rotten, in my opinion. And has made a living off of turning every topic into race. That's what he gets paid to do, I guess. And then the second one is old Bobby De Niro, who is a shell of his former self now, and not bright at all. And then the third one is Sonny Hostin from The View. Okay. So, Isaac, go ahead and play at it, and we will see which one had the worst media take.
John Roberts has been an enemy of the Voting Rights Act, as you pointed out in your opening, for his entire career. John Roberts is the biggest enemy towards black people that this court has seen since Chief Justice Roger Taney, who authored the Dred Scott decision. Whenever black people are asking to have equal representation of this in this country, John Roberts is the man standing at the door telling us no.
You said earlier, Mr. De Niro, about the president. He will not leave the White House. This is where you and I are on the same wavelength, because I've long thought.
Way. He will not. We see it all the time. He will not want to leave. He set it up with his. I guess he's the Goebbels of the cabinet. Stephen Miller. He's a Nazi. Yes, he is, and he's Jewish, and he should be ashamed of himself.
Trump's rise, in part, was based in racism and white supremacy. And that is the truth.
You see, they have nowhere else to take their thought process. It's just, everything is Nazi. Even Stephen Miller is Jewish, and he's a Nazi. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. He ought to be ashamed of himself. Now, Stephen Miller responded to that, and I'm trying to find it because I just saw it, and I can't remember where I saw it. But he responded to Robert De Niro's crap, and Stephen Miller just ripped him apart. That's why they don't like Stephen Miller. That's why they say Stephen Miller is a Nazi, because he just tears them down and all of their stupidness. Let me see. Well, I can't look it up right now. I'll look it up in a minute. It's not good to be trying to do that and talk at the same time. Now, they are so upset, especially people like Ellie Mistel Gacy, Ellie Wayne Mistel Gacy, and Sonny Hostin, because more and more people of color, like I said, are coming to their senses and seeing that the Democrats lied to them and the race hustlers lied to them, and that, you know, the truth be known, Ellie Mistel wants to keep his people down, in my humble opinion, so he can keep profiting off of his take on how racist America is. So we got this clip. I think I told you the wrong one, Isaac. So I'm going to need cuts 85 and 88 here. Let me know when you get them. Got it. Okay. So this is a preacher, and he sees things the right way. Listen, cut 85. Go.
Be authentically black unless you vote Democrat.
Are we actually in a place where the only way you can be black and stand with your people is to be a Democrat? Now, if that's where we are, we're the dumbest people on the face of the planet, and we're the only people in America who operate that way. You can be white and be a Republican or a Democrat.
You can cut
Hispanic and be a Republican or a Democrat. Praise the Lord. Whatever, and be a Republican or a Democrat. But if you're black, the only way you can be an authentic black person is to be a Democrat. That's stupid. And you know what it means? It means that explains why we spend half the time, or maybe even more, out of power. And God is on our side. Now, if we want to talk about whose side God is on, it's the Democrats who are pushing same-sex marriage. It's the Democrats who are pushing letting children get mutilated, little 8-year-old boys getting turned into girls. It's the Democrats who are 100% in their platform behind abortion and abortion rights up till the time of birth. If we start talking about whose side God is on, you got to dismiss most of the scripture to be a Democrat. Well, there are other things. What other things? What's more important than life? Trump ain't no good. Yeah, but he signed an executive order to protect Christians. He's no good, but the polls show that Christianity now has leveled off and is going back on the rise again since he's been in office. You just got to do your homework. Now you start talking about whose side God is on. No, the question not whose side God is on. The question is the question Moses asked. Who's on the Lord's side?
You see, the Democrat Party doesn't just take the black vote for granted. They are so arrogant, they believe that they are entitled to the black vote. And they make no bones about it. They say, hey, look at what all we've done for black people. You owe us your vote. Let's take you back to right before the first Trump-Biden election, when Joe Biden was on with Charlemagne, Leonard is his real name, and this is what he said. Go.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
Those are famous words, and so telling. You see, Biden always, before he got senile, he had a problem with running his mouth too much and letting out too many secrets of the Democrat Party. He's always been, the bumbler and the always, having to come back and apologize, or they had to cover for him because he said something stupid. But he meant that, and that's the way Democrats look at it. If you ain't voting for me, you don't know whether or not you're voting for me or him, then you ain't black. Come on now. Can you imagine that? Being that arrogant, that controlling, and that entitled? No, you can't imagine it if you're a conservative, because we're not like that. That's part of the DNA of Democrats. All right, so one of my favorite Republicans in the House is a young fella, and he is brazen. I like brazen on our side. So I have a clip from him and how he's describing why Democrats want foreigners in this country so much. We'll get to it next. Hang on.
Identifying liberalism and mocking it relentlessly. This is the TJ Ritchie Show on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT.
Oh, here we are. Final segment of the show already. Hey. Moving, grooving, getting down like a hound, funky like a monkey, doing it all on the TJ Ritchie Show. TJ, the realist Ritchie. Now, I said I was going to find the comment that Stephen Miller had in response to Robert De Niro calling him a Nazi. Stephen Miller's Jewish, by the way, so Robert De Niro is just, they're all just so programmed to call everybody they disagree with a Nazi. They don't even know what it means. They're so stupid. Now, I promise you, I did not read anything about this response when I said what I said earlier about Robert De Niro, when I called him a sad shell of his former self, or whatever I said about him being a shell of a man. But reading Stephen Miller's comment about him shows me that I'm on the right track, because he said the same thing, basically. Stephen Miller was on with Hannity, and he referred to De Niro as, quote, a sad, bitter, broken old man who is mostly enraged because he's not had a movie worth watching in the last 30 years. Probably the longest string of flops, failures, and embarrassments. This man has been degrading himself on camera with one horrific film after another for my entire life, adult life. And he's not taken seriously by anybody, not by his family, not by his friends, not by his community. He is a shell of a man, and everyone disregards everything he says. Love that, Stephen Miller. Love him. Love him, love him. He's awesome. Also love Representative Brandon Gill of Texas. He's another one that will say it like it is. Or as they used to say on Oprah Winfrey Show, tell it like a TI is. This is Brandon Gill talking about why Democrats are so hell-bent on as many foreigners as possible living in the United States. Go.
So you ask yourself, why would Democrats do this? Why would they support open border policies, which is clearly their party's platform with regards to illegal immigration? And it is exactly this. It's to import a voter base, people that they believe will vote Democrat perpetually for life. And we see illegal aliens on the voter rolls, just like here in Texas, who are now getting kicked off. But it's not just that. It's that whenever you bring in large numbers of people, that impacts the census. The census counts not just just American citizens, but the total number of people in any given state, and that impacts congressional apportionment, and it benefits blue states at the expense of red. In other words, you have states like New York and Illinois and California who are, as a matter of policy, harboring illegal aliens, and they get more congressional representation, more members of Congress from those blue states because of the illegal aliens who are there. That's what they're doing. It's a plan to cynically, systematically rig our elections in their favor.
Okay, that's all true. I agree with Brother Brandon Gill on that. I'd like to add something to it, though. I wouldn't like to add something to it. I'm going to add something to it. Just as important to these commucrats is the fact that all of these foreigners, legal or not, that come into the United States and don't assimilate and don't pledge allegiance to this country are going to tear down the traditions of the United States, which is the ultimate goal of the communist left in this country. Completely tear apart the system, as Van Jones used to say. We need a whole system. We do? That was when he was working for Obama. You ever notice Van Jones has a lisp? He was working for Obama. And that was when Obama was, quote unquote, fundamentally transforming America. You see, they don't like America. The commucrats don't. Like that clip of Ronald Reagan we played the other night. What's good for America is bad for Democrats, the way they look at it. If America excels, then Democrats don't. They are the party of doom and gloom, and America's rotten, and you need us to make it better for you. You're never going to make it in this world, but at least we can get you something. And the more foreigners that come into America from third world countries with different cultures and they don't assimilate, it's going to cause more and more chaos. I mean, look at some of our major cities now. Look at Minneapolis. Dearborn is not a major city, but look at the culture change. In some of our major cities, there are times where it looks like you're walking through the Middle East. You see these videos all over the place. You see pictures on news sites and things like that. It looks like the third world. Because it's been pounded into the heads of Americans that you have to celebrate these other cultures. Not just allow them, but celebrate them. Put them ahead of you and your needs. They're more important than you are. And then they, publicly proclaim that they're ready to turn America into an Islamic state. And that's just dealing with that culture. You have other people coming in and like, hey, why am I not being able to do the same things I did when I lived in Mexico? Racist? So you get all these different cultures coming in, and sooner or later, the system is going to crumble. And America won't be America anymore. Then out of the ashes will rise these communist Democrats, and they say, here we are to fix everything, but we're going to need to take control of this, and this, and this, and everything. But we'll bring as much, calm upon you as possible. No more elections because this is too serious. We're just going to have to take it over. Or there still will be the ruse of an election, and they say they're voting for the government takeover for their safety. They're trading their safety, their freedom for safety. But you won't get either when you do that. So yeah, it's a diabolical plan with many fingers reaching out, many tentacles reaching out to destroy the country. But other than that, Democrats are pretty cool. Mark Levin is coming up next. God loves you and ain't nothing you can do about it. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
It's TJ Ritchie on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WPT.